I don't know, like I would actually love your input on this. Like what do you guys think would be the most impactful for what conversations you would also like to have?
I'll spit out a heap of topics that Claude built a report from. So
speaking of AI, let's do an episode AI.
Amazing. I use it mainly for research because I'm a lazy fuck with that stuff. But he's gone through and researched the whole Australian market and what's trending right now. So trust is a new currency. We know that, but it's gone up to a whole nother level. 50% of consumers question whether online content is even real now. 62% say brand trust now outweighs price when buying. So the trust is so deep now. Basically, people are buying if you're being spoken about in rooms you don't even know about. So if someone's talking your name in like the pub or whatever, wherever your client is, that's where you're going to get purchased more, invested in more, rather than on the actual socials. Grace Andrews, who was, she grew Diary of a CEO, she said now the funnel has changed from the typical, tofu, mofu, bofu to touch points. So every platform, it's now someone will see you somewhere and then they need something to consume long term. So YouTube and podcasts is now like top of everything. So they've said that the coaching industry is booming, but the filtering is fucking like this now. So now it's gone from, it's a huge brand or business to 99% of brand conversations happen without the brand in the room. So it's kind of like your reputation has to be what Seth Godin said, remarkable. You have to be worth making remarks about in another room.
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's literally just the episode started. It's already started.
Yeah, cool. That's
we're not even
actually
doing
on.
an intro.
We are man.
We're not doing an intro, but welcome to the intro. This is an insight into the episode, and we haven't really talked about what's happening here. That was us right there talking about it. So let's get straight into it. Welcome back to our podcast, because this will be across multiple platforms.
Do you have a podcast, bro?
I don't.
Oh, no, that's right.
I have had one in the past, but it seems silly not having one in this line of
when
work.
you literally do this. All right. Firstly, before we'll go off that, but introduce yourself, Justin.
I'm Justin. I'm typically the one behind the cameras and the mics and the lights and everything in this production studio. So I've been, they've been grateful enough to ask me on today. And this is different for me. I'll be honest. It might take me a little bit to warm up. I'm very much used to being on that side of the camera.
I think you're going to be a natural, bro. Like the conversation we were just having before the mics were even on, like we were saying, Justin would be like an epic, like almost like moderator for this. But I think, dude, you're going to have insights you don't even realize. I've said this before where I've learned so much in the last like 20 years. I've been studying this sort of stuff just naturally until I fully got into it. And I said in a reel the other week, I was like, do you ever feel like you just know fuck all? And then all of a sudden someone asks a question and you're like a sleeper agent and you're like, wait a second, I know everything about this topic. Maybe that's my autism, but but it's essentially
self-aware.
You just, what you've said, Tay, is like you're a responder, right? Someone asks you the right question and your brain and your nervous system, everything lights up. Like we just did with that statement, and you're like, I know what I want to say about this.
Yeah, I feel like I just did an episode before this, and it was a solo episode, and I was super nervous going into it, but then Justin was sitting behind the camera, and I'm like, should I breathe over here? Because I just I would read a question, and then I'm just like, go, 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 go. But I think that's why podcast is so great, and we invited Justin on because he was sitting behind the camera, but we were having a good conversation and we're like, bro, do you want to come in? Like, why not?
I'm down.
So, yeah.
I'm down. No, this is a nice treat. But going back to what you were saying before, like I think it's like that's flow. The fact that you just come on and you're like, oh, I don't know what to say. And then you're just like, brrr, it's like you're in alignment. You're doing the thing that you should be doing. You're talking about what you know. That's flow.
Yeah. And I always think about it like, when you just kind of lose track of it and you start to ramble and you start to get into the flow, I think that's the best answer for a question, because you can sit here and try to premeditate it or try to have it perfect. But honestly, I think the best podcasts are where people don't even know. Like, none of us know what the questions are going to be today. None of us know. We're like, are we talking about AI? What are we doing? Let's just go. And I think that's the best, because you just get into flow and you get into a conversation. And yeah, what you were saying before, like let's literally dive in straight there. So Seth Godin, amazing. Is that how you say his name?
Yep, Godin, yeah. So Purple Cow, was that what it's called?
Yeah.
One of the best books you can read. I read it years ago, but then trying to remember it, like I just said, I'm sure if you ask me a question, do you remember that part where Seth talks about this? And you go, yeah, of course I do. Like I watch a lot of his stuff, and I think what makes him really special for me is he is him. Because we talk about authenticity, right? And I said to Justin before, authenticity to me, and what I've sort of broken down recently, was that it was the version of you that existed before you created the masks. And that could have, you could have stopped being the authentic you when you were like 6, right? Like when you realized that the world wasn't safe, or you thought that, and then you created this version that kept you safe or performed, and you got better results from the performed version. So now the world just knows that version. But let's go back to another piece where there's 3 people in this room right now. I would say there's trust in here, right? We know each other, but we don't know each other super well. I know Tay really well. Justin, I've met a few times now, and I feel like you're a fucking awesome dude that I can trust anyway. Please don't be a killer at some point. But
we will regret this episode.
But it's more like look at how these people show up as humans when there's trust built in the room. That's where, and I know that's why my coaching works so well, because you have to build trust and safety within someone for them to reveal their authentic self. That's what I'm doing, bringing their patterns out. But they won't let go of those patterns that keep them safe until they feel safe.
Well, you posted that yesterday.
Yeah.
You said, a lot of people will call shit out online and say, you're not being authentic, you're not doing this, this is why. But it's not until someone actually feels safe with you when you're reflecting that to them that they let their ego down enough to actually hear and like really listen to that and then have that life change that you do for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, when you were being asked to jump on here, Justin, was there anything that came up you where you were like, oh, I'm going to be exposed, I'm going to feel this? Like, any of that come up?
I mean, it's not exposed, but it's definitely just like self-limiting beliefs. Like, is what I have to say valuable in any way? And that comes from
just talking about
deep,
Yeah.
deep, like going back to what you're saying before, like the identity stuff of like, we might have lost that when we were like 6 years old. That's some stuff I've been really working through these past few years. It was funny. My wife, she got me to do this, like it was like some guided meditation once. And a lot of it was like about authenticity. And a lot of the questions were just like, what would you do in a typical day to day if you just, there was, you had nowhere to be, couldn't answer it. And I'm like, and like for like the week after I was just walking around, I'm like, I don't even know if I think I know who I am. So that's something I've definitely been working through these.
Well, outside of
few years.
achieving, right? Like our whole lives, we work towards what you said before was like children we learn based off either praise or pain. They're like the two things of who you are. That's your personality. That's how you act in the world is going to be based on what was painful as a child or what you got praise for. Most of us, we're entrepreneurs, we're hardworking, we're hustling, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, yeah, we're obsessed with what we do, but like how much of that is based on because we get praise for being hardworking, for helping other people, for having a business that's successful and impacting people, So it's like how much is based on that?
Holy shit. I've got goosebumps. I've just had a massive realization that the football version of Trav was created at 5 years old. So that's when I stopped being me. And what I've just realized is, okay, I'm going to get emotional in this one. I've been struggling heaps the last few weeks because everything's so calm. My entire life since I was 5 years old was performance. I get love because I play a good game of football. I get love because I do well. Oh, it's Trav. He's winning. He's age champion in school. He's fucking this. He's fucking that. Technician, last 6 years. Chaos, cortisol, adrenaline, pressure. I could do anything. I was the man. And now I feel like I'm stepping back more into Trav, who actually has to be with himself more. And now I'm like, why the hell have I got anxiety again? I haven't had it for 15 years. And yet I'm terrified to go to a shopping center. I'm the technician. What the hell is that?
What do you think the anxiety is? Like, do you think it's like fear or?
So what I believe from the work I do and what I've been doing some like journaling and stuff in the last week, even just 2 nights ago in my Airbnb.
It's always when you go away to Airbnb.
Dude, because you're by yourself. Yeah. So what I realized within myself, even a song brought it up, was because I've had a protector, which is the work I do now, is like a protector was created to keep you safe at a younger age. This protector doesn't need to do its job anymore because I've slowed down. But he's freaking out. He's like, oh shit, everything's quiet and calm. When's the thing going to attack us? So it's got me on my toes, like everything's sweet. I've got 3 clients right now. I usually have 20, but I don't need 20. I'm making more now because I charge more because I get better results. And my whole world is different. Like my home's amazing. I've got this beautiful fiance who loves me. There's no drama, like amazing friends. Like everything is amazing. and yet I'm fucking terrified.
And it's like no longer running from that survival, right? And then
Literally.
it's like, oh, okay, cool. I think we talked about this on our first episode where we were like, what happens when like the ambition just changes? Like it's no longer needing to prove anything. Now it's like actually, I call it survival to sovereignty. Now you get a choice in how that plays out. Now you get a choice in how you receive in all of that. And it sounds like that struggle with like receiving just for being you, just for being Trav, instead of being the footballer, instead of being the one who helps everyone. And yes, you are helping people, but I think it's that sovereign choice now.
Yeah.
And you've
Do you
put
think there's an identity thing there as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great question. It just popped up as you said it. The visual archetype for me was I used to be the white knight. I felt like I had to save everyone. So it was coming from I must help this person. They messaged me, holy shit, yeah, dude, let me help you. Now it's like, no, like I'm not an emergency room. You can't just come and tell me how fucked up you are right now and I just help you. Like other people pay a lot of money to get access to these skills I've built over decades.
Yeah.
And that it is decades because it's not just the things I've learned over the last 10 years of study and certifications and all the other stuff. It's my lived experience. I've been through things no one else has been through, but I've also been through what everyone's been through. Heartbreak, career, purpose, depression, suicide. And I've come out the other side and now I have the skills to hold people through that. And people think they can just message you because there's a DM there like, let me access this guy. and I used to feel obligated to have to really help them because I was like, if I don't help them, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But it's not the case at all.
It's like, yeah, that identity fracture is like, well, who am I if I don't? Who am I if I put a boundary in place? Who am I if
What will they say about me?
Yeah, like what is that going to be? But I feel like you've had a journey in business and we're going to do a separate podcast to talk all about that.
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah, we need to know. But yeah, like you've had that where you've been very, very successful and then scaling it back, not to not being successful. You're very successful now, but it looks different and it's kind of like
It took a lot of work.
Yeah, and it does because it's internal because we're taught our whole life, go, 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 like do everything for everyone, build as big as we can. But like the question is bigger always better? And most of the time, the authentic version of us doesn't want bigger, it wants simpler.
Great framing. Yeah.
Did we get that one on camera?
How are you going to answer that one?
Oh, no, going back to what you're saying, like that was something I had to work through a lot, like going from that, business owner, entrepreneur to making the decision to, a lot of shame comes up for me to go like, I got just a job. And it was like, that's taken a lot of work, even to the point, the nature of this job, we meet a lot of successful people. A lot of people come through the door and they go, oh, is this yours? And I have a lot comes up for me saying, no, I'm just this or I'm just that. And it's because I had this business. And look, whether it's successful or not, it really depends on, whatever. Like we scaled it to X amount, but that's something that I really had to work through. But it was a decision that I made. I was telling Tay a little bit about it yesterday about this business that essentially it was my wife's and she started it, but I ended up coming on board and we grew it and then she was leaving. She was having a child. And I was like, hang on. And this is around the time I was doing that identity stuff. And I was like, is this really what I want to? I'm burnt out. Like, I didn't even really start this thing. Why am I doing this? I'm like super stressed. I'm like, I'm working hard, but I'm not working hard enough to burn out, in my opinion. Like, I think, and that's when I realized like burnout isn't always about doing too much. It's about doing too little about the stuff that matters to you. And
that is so
that was
good.
that realization. I'm like, I've got to pull the pin. And
That's
so
a big decision, bro.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting? This is so cool having three people because you get time to have space to consider what they just said and what just popped in. This might be a moment where it's like, don't love your job your love. But
What is that?
that chick that's like, that big fucking hat on. Anyway, what I just heard in your voice, and then when you talk about who you are and what they named you, I'm just. Your name's Justin, bro, and you're learning here that you're not just Justin, and you're not just this work. You are a father. You're a husband. You're all these beautiful things. And I don't think you've ever given yourself the praise that is so much purpose as a man and as a human being. And that's the issue these days is that we are in an environment where they glorify entrepreneurial. Like you're something if you're doing this.
If you don't have a business or a brand or work for yourself.
Yeah.
Like I even question myself because I don't have 50,000 followers, and then like I know I could give a fucking banger podcast on a bigger podcast and all these other things, and they won't accept me because I don't have enough numbers.
Same. I'm like,
Right?
I'm so good. What do you mean?
And then there's that part we were talking about before where we might not have created enough value yet for that person to see us either. So it's like there's a game to play, but there's also who are you at your core? And right now, bro, it sounds like you figured that out and you're like still questioning it because of what society tells us is success.
Oh,
Well, it's a
massively.
perception, because I wrote down just a job in inverted commas. I was like, make a note
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Totally. But that just shows exactly like the identity thing. It's like, all right, well, I've attached identity to business owner, entrepreneur. And it's like, well, what does that really mean? And why is there shame that comes up when I've made the decision to go in this season, this next season with a daughter? I don't want to be, wondering whether or not the money's coming in this month because people haven't paid their invoices and this way, X, Y, and Z. And, that's just, but it's that identity thing. And I'm still working through it to this day. You saw my, when I say just, like that's the feeling that comes up, just being honest. But it's the identity stuff. And that's the stuff that I've been personally working through a lot, these past few years.
Can I ask a more personal question?
Go for it.
Cool. As a man, this is probably one of the biggest things most men will go through is like questioning themselves and judging them towards other men who are driving the big cars, they got all the money, all the shit, which also a lot of the time is just crap anyway. How have you moved through it? Like, how do you get through these moments of like questioning yourself and the just comes up?
I would say I'm still moving through it, to be honest. A lot of, I was just listening to, I don't know if you've heard of like Alan Watts.
Yeah, bro.
Love.
Oh.
We know.
I'm in the right room.
Yeah. This is your people.
Yeah, no, I was listening to it this morning, like just this morning, because I'm working through that piece, like right now, we're doing everything in our power to let my wife be a stay-at-home mum. One income, Australia, prices are going through the roof. It's tough, but that's the trade-off we're making. But I was listening to the Alan Watts, and he was just talking about how we're all rushing. Everyone's rushing. We're rushing so much that we're missing the point of life. Like life is here. Life is right now in this room, sitting here talking to you two. But we're all rushing. We're rushing to get
I'm going to
somewhere.
cry.
Yeah, no.
I feel like I'm going to cry
Can you just
with
feel
that.
like there's like,
Yeah.
when you talk about love, this feels like love. There feels like this energy in the room where you feel so safe and just like there's that flow's happening because we're doing what humans are supposed to do, connect.
Sit around a
just
campfire.
We're just
talk.
chatting,
Yeah.
and like about deep shit, like real shit.
And like the things that I think people get so wrapped up, myself included, with perception, with how people are going to see you, perceive you. What are they going to think if you start changing the way you post your content, if you change your job, if you go back to a normal job, all these things where it's like, I always come back to, that episode I did with Lewis,
Yeah.
where he was talking about you've got to be in line with your values. Like I've gone so deep on values since that, and I'm like, holy shit, I've been living out of line with my values. And that's why I have felt this big internal like hole almost. And it's that friction where it's like if you're doing what you're like in line with your values, you won't feel that friction. You'll love the work. It'll be hard work, of course, because just things are, but you will actually know it's the right path. But when there's so much friction, it's like you're out of line with something. And how long until you listen?
What I just pictured is like when you see it, and this is the work, when I'm in the work, clients, when they're shown the truth and they're not able to feel it, it's really hard. But what happens in that moment is you show them the truth of the patterns they're playing out, the loops and everything. That suit they've been wearing starts to get a bit itchy. And they're like, oh my God, it's fucking itchy on the right arm, or my back's itchy now. And like you said, you start questioning, like, why the hell have I still got this thing on? This is from when I was 12. I need to take this off. Like, who am I underneath this? And then you're kind of like shedding a skin that never was yours, essentially. It was like put on you by someone else. I'm seeing someone like put a sausage dog in a costume suit, be like, you're Superman today. It's like, who are you actually beneath the masks and suits that you chuck on? And like you said, was that DeMartini based, like the value stuff?
I've been doing his courses.
He's unreal with that stuff, right?
I was about to say unreal and insane. I was like, unsane.
New word, let's drop it here. What was something from DeMartini that really, like, you were like, holy shit, I'm never going to forget what I just learned there?
I think what I've really been looking into is like wealth and money with him, where it's like, you can say that you value, this is not really in line with this conversation, but you can say that you value wealth and you value self-education and that, but look at when you get money in, where's the first place you put it? That's what you value. And I was like, oh, that really shifted, because do you put it to like makeup, getting your Botox done, blah, blah, or do you put it into a coach, a mentor, or do you put it into your mortgage, you know, because you invest in real estate and that. So that's like totally unrelated, but that's kind of like what I've been looking at the moment, which I find really interesting. And just understanding, I think if we put it back to coaching, what's been the most impactful, and it comes back to this conversation, you have to understand the values of the individual, because for you, Justin, like imagine a world, which we're living, where we think it is like maybe shameful or embarrassing to say, I want to provide for my family and have that be stable. You know, like what kind of a fractured world are we living in where
really
that's
good point.
shameful?
Oh, damn. Why is this topic coming up? Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Because I was about to do a reel the other day. Something pissed me off, but also brought light to myself. I was driving back from the gym. It was like 5:30 in the morning. And I was driving along and I seen a heap of tradies sitting on the side of the road smoking. In the past, I would have gone, what the fuck are you guys doing? Get your shit together, rah, rah, rah. And then I realized that's the gap we're creating. We've got more men being fit, doing mindfulness. That's all great. But then they're judging these other guys that don't know any better. And that's creating the gap. But the thing is, those guys that are judging and like criticizing those guys that want to stay back and have beers after work, they were that guy. All they're doing is pushing themselves away from who they were still and who they are still inside. So rather than do the work, they're trying to prove themselves through fitness, through I only eat fucking carnivore or whatever it may be, which is all great too. This is the point. Where you talk about wealth and then we're talking about this other stuff like job and entrepreneur, I think both should be celebrated.
100%.
That's the part where it's like, hey, that guy who wants to have a beer with you after work, that's the only way he knows how to connect with you. He just doesn't know.
Yeah.
He genuinely doesn't know. And you're judging him going, oh, I don't do that shit anymore, bro. You're a fucking loser. It's like, no, he doesn't know how to connect with you. So this is what he's doing.
Oh, that's so powerful. And you see it online all the time. So there's been so many people lately who have been quitting their businesses and going back to a normal job online. I've seen so many people. And instantly, what happens? The fucking crows come out. They're like, if you did that, you never believed in what you were doing in the first place. And I'm like, what kind of world are we living in where we're shaming someone doing something for their own mental health, their financial position,
Things
their
have changed.
family? They might not like it anymore. Is that just okay that someone changes their mind? Like, and it really just gets me thinking of how much shame. I've had a best friend who was a coach and she's recently shut that down after 7 years.
Nice.
And I've been like helping her work through that, the amount of shame that's come up for her. And I'm like, oh, like I just feel like I want to cry thinking about that, where people feel like they can't. And myself, I look at areas where I'm not doing what I want because, oh, heaven forbid, what the fuck would people say? But it's like, yeah, I think it's I can't speak that I'm like the guru and I've got it figured out, because I don't. Like I would say I still do the same thing in certain areas.
Yeah, I think, you've nailed that. I think it's coming from a place of, hey, I see that you're doing the best you can. Like I went and hung out with my family last night. It was my niece's birthday down in Tweed. They're down at the Big Four Park there. And I rock up, and this is just normal people who work normal jobs that drink piss and have fun and talk shit about things and talk about normal stuff, normal, which is just the everyday thing. And I just sat there and I'm like, I love this. Whereas when I first started this journey, I was criticizing my family. I'm like, why aren't you guys more conscious?
Yeah.
Why don't you do more breath work? I don't know, Trav, because I don't want to. That's okay. Like, I know when I look back 10 years ago, the Trav I was then, no way in hell, we're different people. I don't shame him. He was doing the best he could. There's things that I used to do where I look back and I just get like this cringe in my body where I'm like, oh. But I just didn't know. And how can I do any better when I didn't know any better? And I think there's obviously people that choose to be assholes too.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to take that away from that, because there's a lot of bad men doing bad things, but there's a lot of men who just don't know any better and need the right support. And we talk about trying to help mental health stuff with men. We're still not doing it the right way. We're still doing it the same shit that we used to do. When the big disconnect is like, hey, if you improve yourself, don't go judging the brothers that are still just in that place you just came from.
100%.
And is shame really going to change people?
Hell no. It's what men usually keeps us stuck, shame, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the biggest thing that we struggle with.
Oh, I find this so interesting being sat here with two men. I'm like, tell me more.
Well, when I'm talking about that stuff, bro, have you had that come up before or heard it spoken where a lot of men who are like doing better now, they then criticize with other blokes that aren't doing
100%. Like, I come from a world where I was that, like my 20s were And there was a lot of reasons for this. Was just partying. Like that's what we did here in Gold. It was just partying. It was just living for the weekends and just not sleeping on the weekends. And I have come out of that now, but I always promise myself, and I don't not drink. Like I'll have a drink, and when I do drink, maybe it's once a quarter, once half a year, and I'll drink and then I'll have fun, and then I just always promise that I'll never. If anyone's still doing it every week, that's fine. You do your thing. Like it's just not my place to judge. I'm not in a higher, I'm not going to look down. It's just because I always see people do that, and it's just not helpful.
Well, when you operate from fear, you focus on other people around you. When you operate from like true sovereignty, you're just focused on let people do what they want, live your life. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it usually comes from they're bothering something within you.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like you have to defend it. So that's when you criticize. And there is something I heard the other day, someone say it's like they're sick of people judging them. But judging is actually a healthy thing when it's helpful feedback.
Yeah.
Criticism and like it's all different stuff. Like if someone's actually giving you feedback saying what you just said was ridiculous, you need to take a look at yourself. They're actually giving you genuine, honest feedback. If you emotionally react to that, there's probably something in you that they were right.
Push the button.
Yeah. So, but then it goes to, I'm sick of everyone judging this. No, they're actually just giving you feedback that you should probably listen to, because then you can take it and go, you know what, you were correct.
There's often some sort of truth in it.
Yeah, like if your body responds in a certain way of like, oh, I know they're right, but I'm going to defend myself. And I was the worst for it, where like a really simple version was like, Christelle, my fiance, would come home from work and be like, babe, how come you didn't get the washing done? Like for me, it's just ADHD. I just forgot. I probably put it in, then like,
me.
and then I just, right? But I come up with this fucking excuse of like, oh, what happened was someone called and
Instead
I just
forgot.
I just forgot.
Yeah.
It's so funny, man. My wife's got ADHD. I came home yesterday and I didn't say it. I had the
well done.
I didn't say it. I was just like, why isn't that done? And then, but she's got ADHD. And then again, I had to really sit down because I could feel a little bit of whether it's not resentment, but just something building up.
Yep.
I've come home from work, and then it's like, just take a breath, just think about it. Okay, A, she has ADHD. Not that that's an excuse, but whatever.
Yep.
She's got her hands full with our daughter, hands full, and she is an amazing mother. And I can, there's certain things you can want. I could want the perfect house when I come home, but that means that she's not spending as much time with my daughter. And she sits and just reads with her for hours on end. She's a very present, amazing mother. And I had to sit there and go, well, why am I letting that get to me then?
Dude, can I just say, first of all, as a man, bro, I'm so proud of you and the life you've created for your wife and your daughter to be able to spend time together.
I was just thinking that. Imagine having that where you can spend all day at home with your
In
daughter.
2026?
Yeah.
What?
It's hard.
That's a special thing. Yeah, bro.
No, I know, but I appreciate that. And it's sad that it's rare now. It's rare. And, you see these videos.
That, right?
You see these videos pop up of these, men feeling that like they've failed because they got to drop their child off to daycare because it's just not viable to be able to keep one person at home. And I think it's such a failure of the system that we've let it get to this point. And that's probably a topic for another day. But we're trying. We're trying really hard. And it was a 5-year journey to have our daughter. It's a long time to work out the kind of parents that you want to be. And, we worked out that we want to be conscious, we want to be present, we want the mother to raise the daughter or, whoever comes after that. It's like, we don't want strangers raising our child.
Let me ask a question to both of you then, because I'm a female, so obviously different biology. I'm learning biology at the moment.
I heard.
Nice.
And game theory.
Yeah, game theory. So it really interests me how like males have different drivers, right? Female, very nurturing, etc. We're in charge of like the emotional home, things like that. Males are very much the provider, right? My question, I've always wanted to have a conversation with a male about this because you read about it, you see other people talking about it, but I just like different perspectives. How much pressure do you guys feel to be the provider? And is it a good pressure or a bad pressure?
Justin's going to have a more traditional. I'm a bit of a hybrid when it comes to this answer, so I'll let you answer first, bro.
In the season of life that I'm in right now, I feel an immense amount of pressure, like immense. sometimes crippling, to be honest. To, like, again, just going back to what we were saying before, like, it's not easy to do. And again, going back to the original conversation, when I was a business owner, like, if we needed more money coming in, I can kind of pull that lever. I can work harder. I can reach out to more people. I can, there's levers you can pull. You're somewhat more in control. When you've got sort of a, more of a traditional job with a salary, and granted, I do things on the side, and there's always that lever, but then I'm taking time away from and this is the balance, right? But no, you feel somewhat this. I don't know if it's feeling like you feel powerless in a way, and I'm not powerless. I'm not a victim in any of this. You can always.
Yeah.
It's just what you feel, and I can't just pull a lever and increase my salary next week. Yet the bills are going out, and we want to create this life. I do feel an immense amount of pressure, and my wife has said every day, she's like, I'll go and, she at the moment she's cooking up a business. Like she's a business owner herself. She's owned restaurants. She can't sit still. So she will always do stuff.
It's ADHD.
Yeah, 1000%. So she's always like, it's not this pressure of like, I have to, and she's not, it's really not that. Like we're actually not as traditional as it probably is sounding. But yeah, no, just before I hand off to you, that's in this season of life that I'm in right now, it feels, it's a lot. Yeah.
Thanks for being honest, bro. I think even just based off the topic we're talking about today is like, again, men won't be like that. Most men won't just speak about that and what they're feeling because then
honest.
They're terrified of being seen as weak or something like that when it's not weak at all. But that's just how that's been portrayed over the years, and that's why most men don't talk about that shit. So anyway, coming back to my answer, yeah, same thing, a lot of pressure, especially being a business owner and the way the world is working right now. And I go through not only a entire almost like rebrand in some ways with my methodology, who I am, but on a personal level, honestly, since December 30 has been some of the hardest months I've ever had to go through. It's been wild. I actually drove away to Toowoomba for 4 days by myself because I felt internally I had to go process whatever was coming up. And it was deep, and it's just kept unraveling this whole time. Really only feel like it's just finished last week, essentially. So, but what came with that was like all the money I'd made, I had to rely on that because I couldn't bring any new money in. I couldn't show up online really as I wanted to. I couldn't coach how I wanted to. All my clients were finishing up, and I had to trust, and we know this, there's a void that happens. For anyone listening, there is a void that happens when you go from who you were to who you're becoming. That means the clients change, which means the marketing has to take its time because it's like raising fucking cattle.
Yeah, it's like a 90-day period where marketing
literally on the 90th day, I signed someone Friday, right?
Yeah.
For the highest rate I've ever sold at too. And I felt fine selling at that rate. So again, I've gone, fuck, I'm still not charging enough for what I do.
Yeah, they
Right.
said yes, damn.
Yeah, so it's this part of like, okay, I've leveled up internally, so my business has too, but that's now new pressure as well. Because I'm terrified of what these clients need now.
Oh, no one talks about that, like where you actually get the type of client you really want, and then you're almost like, oh, fuck, I don't want them because they're going to call a different level of me out, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
that's like what I was talking about with the conversation with someone that was in here the other day, and I was like, I would not feel competent enough to interview that person.
Yeah. So it's like that new level of expectations are now here, and that's why my old self was trying to sabotage me. Because I know I'm going towards like NFL players, NBA players, all this sort of stuff's coming. I called that in. So now I've been forced to become this version. So on top of that, I am also the guy at home that cleans up, cooks, and all the other things because my fiance has a traditional job of being a teacher, but she's the head of department. She's like hectic, busy all the time right now, reviewing stuff for kids and everything, and she loves her job. And I would never expect her to quit and like we go in together and she's like my business partner and things like that. That's not her. She loves her job, she loves her career. So I'm the one that does a lot of the stuff at home too. So there's these two parts of me, like I'm almost like the nurturer and the provider and all the things, which I love. I actually love doing it. I love looking after our dog and like spending time with him. But I realized that I like experiencing those responsibilities as one person. It's a lot, man. And I have so much respect for parents and mums that might have the traditional lifestyle of doing that. I'm like, holy shit, I don't even know if I'd be able to handle a kid. Honestly, a dog's enough. Like it's, but I know
grow.
it would. I know you
do
grow,
grow.
you step up, right? But yeah, for me, I'm loving being able to do all that and be able to provide that for my partner and have this business because honestly, you talk about Trav 10 years ago, I could barely hold a job. I could barely make $700 a week. I was working at Rebel Sport. You know, like how could I do what I do now? So I have that. I go back. I'm always like clarity for who I was. And that reminds me of like, dude, you asked for this.
Like what you're capable of. Shit.
Yeah, it's right here, right? And I think about those moments being at Rebel Sport, and it's why I'm good at what I do now because people would come in there, and I didn't know this at the time. I just thought I was weird. And
You're a little bit weird.
yeah, I am very weird.
That's not a bad
It's taking part of your destiny in this Scottish saying. People will come in to buy shoes from me and tell me about how they just tried to commit suicide last week.
Wow.
Trust was built naturally. That's just who I've always been. I've just put a label on it and say I'm a coach now.
Do you know what? I used to have people come into Blockbuster, that's where I worked, and say
Let's
that.
go.
Like, they used to come in and, like, stand there and chat for me for 20 minutes telling me their deepest, darkest inner world. And I'm like, sweet, it's 8:45 on a Friday night. People just need an outlet. Like, people just need to talk.
Bro, we were just talking about this, right?
Literally. Yeah, literally.
So what we said, maybe this is the thing we create. We were like, he would like pay money if someone created an experience of like a Blockbuster experience as a workshop.
It was the best job.
Honestly, like we could create something in like a warehouse that's like you're walking into a Video Easy or Blockbuster,
Right.
but you're getting like coached and like it's like an internal experience as well as the nostalgia.
The
Oof.
nostalgia piece would put you right back into your childhood, I feel. Like it's
Yeah.
a
And
real
you know-
good way to get into the
And the smells.
smells and like whatever music in the background. Like,
Ooh.
The DVD playing with like all the movies going.
Yes.
Yes.
You know how
Yeah.
I was saying before on my previous podcast, I was like, there's why people buy and then there's how. Nostalgia or novelty is why. One of the reasons how people buy, so we could totally tap into that market. Just
And
saying.
because people are fucking cooked right now, so they want to go back to how it was, right?
Well,
again,
they want
it's-
connection.
especially, it's just the more the AI keeps booming, it's like, I reckon, like my bet is there's going to be a lot more of those kinds of experiences that just make us feel what we, used to feel like, I've even seen, even though the ironic part about this is it was AI video,
told
but
me.
I've seen a few people do these like AI videos and it was just like a day in the life of someone in the
Oh, yeah,
90s.
yeah.
You've seen those and it's
They're
just
epic.
like,
and they got like Pokemon and Game
they got
Boy and stuff,
Pokemon,
yeah.
but it's just like that in real life.
Yeah.
Like I think that could, because it makes us feel something. There's a reason those videos get millions of views because we just go, man, remember that?
Well, that's
Yeah.
coming back
Yeah.
to that aliveness, and like that's what authenticity is like, where do you feel the most alive? Where do you feel the most free? And like that's why I'm doing this podcast. And I said that to you guys before. Like, I genuinely do this podcast for connection,
Yeah.
because it's self-serving. Like, I get connection with people, and I'm so thankful that you jumped in on today's, because I'm like, that's so fun for me. And you can tell I feel like a giddy little, I'm like, yes, this is fun. But it's like, I think people are just chasing that even more and more in their lives with how much pressure. And I don't think we're meant to have this many eyes on our lives and this many people knowing what we're doing. People know what your job is, what you're doing on your weekends. Like, we look at ourselves on a phone every single day. I know what you're doing, and I don't even live near you. Like, it's such an unnatural thing. And sure, you evolve with the world, but
Not
I feel
that
like
quick.
we
Yeah,
all grew
yeah.
up as well in a generation where, like, we had dial-up internet. And I think, like, we just feel a bit nostalgic for, that
It's weird to
connection
think
again.
as well, like I don't know everyone's age here, but I'm going to assume we're the last generation
We
Yeah.
grew up
in
with
that
it. What,
era
Yeah.
because
34?
everyone
36.
Yeah.
35. How,
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
hey, I'm in the middle
Yeah,
too.
let's
Let's
go.
go.
I love this. I feel like we're meant to have like a triple podcast or something. Yeah.
Forgot what you were saying.
Oh my gosh. It's right there.
The time, so we're not used to having everyone watch everything we do. We had dial up. We
Oh,
had
you
this.
said
Yeah,
we're the
yeah,
last
the last
generation.
generation,
Yeah,
which is wild.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. And we're the only generation as well that has experienced both. We experienced no phones, playing in a sandbox, like out till 7 p.m. and your mum and dad don't know where you are.
Yeah.
And you just come home when the lights go down. But
Yeah.
like now, there's no freaking way. You would have a cell phone. Where are you? Get home. Like, it's wild to
Yeah.
think about that.
I'm
be-
like, sorry, I'm
you're
like
right, bro.
notoriously bad at responding to messages or answering calls because I have this belief that I'm like, it's like, I don't, like, why should I be contactable at every minute of every day
Oh,
by
I
every
love
single
that.
person.
Yeah.
And this actually came from my coaching days. For a bit of context, I come from the fitness world, and at one point I was working for a coaching company. I had 180 clients at once.
Holy
180 clients. Not ethical. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But I just got a real aversion to my phone because we didn't, back then it was just all done through my personal number. But that kind of created this belief in me that I'm like, why the fuck should I be contactable at every point? And I do think it comes back to just this, our nervous systems, going back to what I was saying before, like you say we evolved, but our nervous systems have not evolved quick enough from our ancestors. And it is not natural for us to be contactable or, like you say, for everyone to know what we're doing. And you see that on the extreme example with celebrities. It's like, and we give them shit for them going off the rails. It's like, of course they went off the rails.
Of course
Of course they've got 1 million people just doing anything that they want and knowing every move. And it's like I have nothing but empathy for those people. But yeah, I don't think we should be, I'm not going to answer straight away.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's mental health has just declined.
Yeah.
The more that we know about people, the more that we're accessible 24/7, the more that we just talk about our problems online 24/7, like I just feel like it's not healthy for people to be doing that. No one's living their real life.
Nah, my mates know if you try to call me and you get my voicemail, there's a reason. I'm chilling, I'm gaming, I'm whatever. I'm probably going to screen your call.
I will never answer a phone call, just message me.
Yeah. I'm just like, bro, I'm not, because he'll be driving or something. One of the boys, he loves talking in the car. I'm like, fucking drive. Don't try to call me. There's a reel I saw where it's like this dude's like, he picks up his phone because someone's called him. He's like, did you call through my D&D? The guy's, yeah, man, I need your help. Go die. And then throws his phone. If you get through my D&D and I've got my time, man, that is what it is. But also, obviously, I want to make sure that I am a friend, the people listening, that I'm someone who will always show up for my mates when they actually need me.
For sure. And
there's a big difference.
I don't think that takes away from that at all. Like there's a difference between being there when needed and being a support, and then people just expecting you to be there during your downtime. What I thought about them when you're saying that is like when people would say like, what are you up to? And it'd be like a Friday night, and I feel like I have to lie. And you go, I'm busy. But it's like I'm doing nothing, and that's the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That is
fucking
what I
right where I want to be. But
Yeah.
people, you go doing nothing, they go, oh, well then it's like, no.
Oh, come over, let's
No,
go
no.
do this. You're
Yeah.
like, no.
But I do. I feel like I have to, it's not so much these days. I got to, one thing about having a child, it's a very good out in a lot of situations. Anyone listening, I don't do that to
baby.
But before that, I always felt like I had to lie, and I often would, not in a bad way, but just, doing this. But it's like,
Yeah, and there's spectrums of it where it's like, it's okay that we want our own space, and it's okay to just say no and not have to explain yourself. There's another part that I saw a reel where it's like we do need to still sometimes do the uncomfortable shit we don't want to do. So showing up to a person's birthday, doing these uncomfortable little like connections, or, like you've got a friend who has a mum and dad that they're like, hey, I really want you to come to mum and dad's anniversary, or whatever it is. Like showing up for those things here and there, I think is really important too. But there's definitely a space, like you said before, dude, that everyone knows what we're doing. And now, like even for myself, if I haven't posted for a couple of days, I get people being like, hey, Trav, are you okay?
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I'm
I
sweet.
noticed you're not there. I'm like, yes, I'm good. Thank you. And I'm like, and now I have to reply to that message.
Because we're on the topic, and this is your like thing, right?
Yeah.
What are you seeing right now, especially for a lot of your clients, how are they sharing on socials that's helping them grow their build their business, and actually grow a personal brand? Because the stats here are showing like behind the scenes content gets 8.7% engagement versus 2.1% for polished branded posters.
Yeah, I feel that founder-led branding is so big. Like no one wants to buy into something or, follow something or invest there. Like you think about it, time is valuable. Me trusting you to give me your time, I would have to be pretty bought into you to do that. You would have to offer me something. So I feel like the more that I can feel like I'm getting connection, which I think is what we all are seeking in this world, the most common thing I see is, and what we kind of like had an idea for this podcast was AI. So I don't have anything against AI. I love AI, but I think the best thing that I've done with all of my clients is be like, but AI is not writing your content. If you can't get on and just say something without fearing that you're going to fuck it up or get it wrong, like that's a problem. You've got to be able to connect on a real human level to yourself first be willing to see yourself in your humanness, let other people see you in that. That's what's going to grow your brand. Like, no one wants you to be perfect or this authority or poised. And I feel like the most real human people are the people that we connect to the most and we love the most. And sure, you can look at how do you make sales and that's like a different conversation, but equally people are investing into things that are benefiting their life and of value. And we spoke about this before. You can read something instantly and think to yourself, that's AI. Once that trust goes on one piece of content, I now do not trust anything else I am seeing from you. And I'm now thinking, that person used it there. I wonder if their programs are AI. I wonder if their podcast is written by AI.
Yeah.
I wonder, and that subtle little seed of doubt is enough for people to break trust.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, damn. It's almost like people that have relied on that ability to have the phone in front of them and they're able to do something that doesn't actually like show the true self. Now the true self has to come up. They're terrified because their nervous system can't handle that. I think that what makes your business so cool is that like you understand the brand DNA and the marketing and everything, but you also understand the neuroscience part of it too and the nervous system. It's like if people now have to show up as their true selves and start doing more like just real uncomfortable content, most people that can't handle that won't do the strategies that you're giving them, right? You know, but you're helping them understand like, hey, I noticed you haven't done what we were supposed to do this week. What's actually going on? What's the thing beneath that? Because it's not that you're too busy or anything. There's a deeper pattern that's playing out that's protecting you from doing the shit that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What is that?
I always look at like 3 lenses whenever I'm 4 lenses actually, whenever I'm working with someone. It's always like, cool, there's the very real strategy of things. There's then the emotional element, there's then the behavioral element, and then there's the subconscious prison element. So they're like the 4 things that I look at. And for me, that kind of encompasses self-leadership, where I feel like if someone doesn't have the ability to lead themselves through how they're showing up online, then they are going to experience resistance with visibility. They are going to experience growing their personal brand, because why would you want to grow something that you know is fake? Like, you're going to be so scared you're going to get exposed for something. Like, you know, you're going to have that fracture internally. So when you show up, you change as soon as the phone comes on. Like, there is no way we can hide on this podcast.
No.
This is like real time. I don't cut this. I don't edit this. And it's like, you have to have that level of self-trust and be okay that you can fuck up in public. And, you know, you might say something that is the wrong thing or repels someone, and you might be a bit inconsistent. You might be a bit judgmental. You're a fucking human. Like, well fucking done. You managed how to be a human. You know, you might have emotions that are really big. You might post a piece of content that flops. Like, big fucking deal. And I think people just need to actually leverage their humanness more in their brand. And if they did, they would grow so much quicker. Well, not even grow, just connect. Like, you don't even need to grow. Just connect to the people you already have.
Just more depth. More depth. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so real. Hey, like I talked about this before, where it's like sometimes I felt like I was hamstringed a little bit by not having the 20, 40, 50,000 followers. But just recently, one of my reels has just gone off. It's been shared like 3,000 times or something and saved a crazy amount of times. And it was a breakdown of this TV show I'm watching called Shrinking.
Oh, yeah, I
and
saw
help them
that.
understand the field. That's just gone off, right? So I've gained like nearly 2,000 plus followers in the last week or so. And I'm watching it go and I'm like, I don't even want this. I actually want to avoid this in the future because I don't know now who's following me.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to actually be like, hold on, are they the people that I actually want in this world that I want to work with and have in my community? And look, I'm going to assume and put it out there that they're all awesome people.
Yeah.
That they've resonated with that content and like they're people I want to talk to and they're following me and they're going to watch my journey. But it's like kind of like, oh, actually, you know what? I don't know if I've done this the right way, but I'm just going to roll with it anyway and just work off the back of it. But
Well, you
it's been
learn as
interesting,
well.
yeah.
But I feel like with branding, it's so hard because the thing that, well, not so hard, but the thing that you have to keep in mind is you want to grow an audience of relevance and intimacy. So the people you're building with, like what you said, like you don't know them yet. It's like, perfect. That's like the spot where you need to leverage. How do you get to know them more? How
Yeah.
do you actually create that with them? Because if not, you will just grow an audience where you see it all the time. People have those massive audiences and they can't monetize. They can't, well, not even monetize, but money makes impact. So they can't impact people.
Yep.
because people are just there for, you got to be careful. Are you getting people for cheap dopamine? If you're getting cheap dopamine hits with your videos, well, you're attracting people who have an attention span of a monkey or a goldfish, sorry. So it's like, I don't know what monkeys are like, but like you're attracting that type of audience, which means they're that type of buyer. They're going to want the quick fix. So you got to be smart with brand psychology to understand the quality and depth and intelligence of the audience you're building.
Yeah, and that it makes me so happy now that yesterday the photo shoot I did, I said this to Sammy
so
and Michaela,
cool,
I was like,
by the way.
I don't want to do this. I literally for 2 weeks was like, I don't even want to do this.
Yeah, you spoke to me and you were like, oh, I've got to go do this thing. I'm excited, but I'm also not.
Yeah, and it just, again, like I just had a heap of questions prepared for Mick to ask me in the background and be like, so Trav, what do you think of this? And then I'm just spitting and I'm realizing like, what the fuck? Yeah, I forget sometimes I've been learning about this shit for 10 years. Books, YouTube, mentors, qualifications, all these things. I have it there. And sometimes, like I said, I walk around going, what am I even going to say?
Yeah, who am I?
Everything. Like, and again, I watched some of the reels back that Sammy's already put together for me and like overnight. I'm like, damn, that's the shit. That's what I've been missing. I've been avoiding actually just hiring someone to come and follow me around and just ask me a question and let me spit and do my thing because that's what my clients get. That's all I'm doing. Like, my business is very simple. I support them in Telegram. I challenge them. I give them little weekly updates on how they're going and all these things. And, AI is amazing now because what I've created is like an RPG style thing where they see their transformation. So a lot of coaching is like they just feel, I feel really good, Trav. I feel like I can set boundaries and shit. Now I can build a custom dashboard to show them how much they've improved. So visually they can see, oh my God, my boundary setting has gone from a 2 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10 because of this, this, and this. And they can visually see that. So now they've got this confirmation, especially for all the neurodivergent ones I work with, which is pretty much everyone. They start to trust themselves because high performers, they achieve all these things and within a day they forget what they've done.
They can't see it. Yeah. Relate.
Yeah. So again, coming back to kind of relating to what you're saying, 100%, I even forgot myself that all I have to do is be me. I don't have to have all these special tactics and things like that. And all I have to do is fucking hire someone for half a day, go record a heap of content, and I'm good for a couple of months.
And build in line with your values and live in line with your values. And it's like, cool, use AI to leverage things. Like we all use AI in what we do.
People that lie about not using it.
Oh, I know. I'm like, we use
like,
it, but it's like not to replace,
it's an
like not for the content.
Of you. And I think I saw, Hormozy did a video on it the other day about like how to use AI effectively. And it's like, it shouldn't be writing for you. Like it's like, you give it the writing and then it can help and fix and adjust and, use it as a way of brainstorming. And it's that's my main way. Yeah. 100%.
You saw my voice messages the other day and it doesn't even pick up what I'm saying.
Didn't realize how private.
It was so funny, Trav. I was like, I built this quiz thing. And he's like, oh, really? And I'm like, I'll show you. And I opened up my Claude chat and I was like, see, this is... And
she started getting more embarrassed as she's going. She's like,
actually, don't look. And I was like, oh, actually, I might not show you how I prompted that because that's like so
It gets personal.
Just say it in plain English, please.
Yeah.
Literally, that was something I said. I was like, say it in English. But it's so, like, it is great to use. And I think more people not need to be scared of it.
Yeah.
We need to leverage it. We all leverage it in the businesses. But I mean, you would see this as well. Like if you... And I mean, I don't know if you actually see this, I'm making an assumption, but if people come in and record a podcast and it's like very structured, like does it feel a bit, not bad, but it's just like, okay, like we can tell.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I do see that quite a bit. You can, especially if you're in this field, you can sniff it a mile away. I don't know if the everyday person can.
Yeah.
I would assume they could.
They're evolving to do it quicker.
It's just like if you watch a YouTube video, they're obviously reading off a teleprompter. Not that that's a bad thing, but the script is obviously written off from ChatGPT, and you're like, I'm off.
And
here,
here's the thing.
Yeah. It's not because
and here's what no one tells you.
Here's the kicker. But like going back to not letting it write for you, you also don't have to. This is something that I think we're going to struggle with as a species is not letting it think for us. We've had someone come through this studio that's doing amazing things. She's a tech founder in Silicon Valley, and she's creating this startup of like buy, like wearable devices that can actually read into our emotions.
Ooh.
Incredible. And really, really smart. Incredible. But she was saying to me that they're actually showing now that our brains are atrophying. They're getting smaller since we have LLMs because we're just not thinking for ourselves anymore.
I feel dumber than what I did without AI.
Yeah.
100%. My wife gives me shit all the time. I'm like, she's like, just think of it yourself. I'm like, no, I am, but I'm using it as a thought partner.
I'm refining. That's all I'm doing.
Well, that's why I've gone back to learning, because I'm like, I feel like I'm not stimulated to learn. Like I know what I know and I'm good at what I do and I mastered it. But now it's like, back in the day, so old, but like we used to write all of our content, all of our programs, emails, everything from scratch.
Imagine writing the whole landing page. Or
Imagine we had to build the landing page. Now it does it for you. That's how quick
as humans we adapt, right? Yeah. In that way, where it's like that was one, like that's not that long, really, and it's already
like 4 years ago.
Well, yeah,
you go, I couldn't even imagine, and like that's how quick. And we're on that hockey stick curve, right? And it's only going to get more and more. And this is something that we're going to have to deal with.
Well, I get worried for people who have come in now and never experienced it before, because if if AI went, we'd be okay. It would fucking suck, but we would be okay because we've done it before. We've got the skill. We've already mastered that. Yeah. And now we just learn to leverage, right? But other people have come in, they don't even know how to do it themselves. And this is the biggest thing I see with new people coming in to build businesses, and that is like they rely so heavily, which like I would never tell someone not to use it. I think it's so smart to use, but it's like, and make sure you're not dumb.
But it's also like, when you've used AI to craft the offer, to come up with the copy, to then come up with the messaging within and it's like, have you really done
Do you know what scares me? Is like my partner and I were talking about this, someone could create a PDF on how to parent your children from AI. They're not a parent. They don't know anything about children. They're not a psychologist. And then you could buy it and then use, because their messaging is so good, and you could use that on your child.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like what?
I think it's that the trigger or the buzzword that they use in the self-development space of embodiment, right?
Yeah.
If you don't understand what's in front of you right now, then maybe don't say it. You don't have to be an expert on it, but understand it to a degree where if someone asked you about it, you'd be able at least to answer in the right way, essentially.
Well, embodiment is like in the body. Have you experienced that yourself? And again, not mastery. I'm not a master. We're working towards mastery, but none of us are fucking perfect. But we try to experience things before we, try to help someone else with it.
Yeah, literally. And I think when you guys, how you were describing it, for me, it's like it's a great scaffolding while I build the home. It's kind of like perfect for me to be able to just do what I do best, which is be the technician, while it does shit that, again, not an excuse, guys, for the ADHD, for the back end stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking no chance.
No
chance.
But it's good for that if you can learn how to leverage it. Like, just play around and learn what it can do for you. Like, I just fuck around and find out most of the time. I'm like, I wonder if I could do this for my podcast, and I'll put my stats in. It'll help me. But not outsourcing me just actually knowing what I'm doing.
Totally. Yeah.
I think what you said there is cool, where it's like we have experienced life without it. And I truly feel sorry for the people, because now we just said it before, what I'm actually experiencing, as you guys said that, we're creating, is it a pandemic or epidemic?
Epidemic, probably.
Epidemic of shortcuts.
Yeah.
Because this is creating shortcuts, people are now creating shortcuts in business, in connection, people trying to access people that haven't earned the right to sort of be around even. And I know it sounds like righteous in a way, but it's true. Like, I had to do the same thing.
But
I didn't get
status.
access to people.
The world works on hierarchies. You've got to accept it.
It
like,
just is what
I
it
can't
is.
get fucking Simon Beard on my podcast because that's just probably, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe down the track.
Yeah.
But and I could probably pitch it and see, but it's just one of those things that I'm not naive to. There's a hierarchy.
Like, you wouldn't say, oh, he's a piece of shit, he said no. It's like, no, I
exactly.
understand
I'd be like, I get
you
it.
have an understanding of how the world works to a degree. But to what you were sort of saying then a little bit, sometimes I just look at my daughter and I just sit and I think, and I'm like, what are you going to experience in this world when it comes to AI in your lifetime? And how do I parent in a way that teaches her that because imagine in 10 years time when she's 11 or whatever, and it's like how much AI is going to be integrated into our day-to-day life. Like, how do I still teach you to think for yourself and deal with resilience and not shortcut everything? Like, that's something I think about all the time. And again, like I said, I just sit down and go, what you're going to see in your lifetime is hard to comprehend.
Choosing small moments of resilience is something I've started doing recently. Is that even, it might sound silly, I know, but even I had a sauna before this, right? And it was fucking hot. I don't know what that woman put it on, but it was. I sat in there. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I can do 40 minutes of this. But I got down to the last 5 minutes, and you know when your brain knows you're close, like say the toilet's close, and all of a sudden you have to pee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas you just held it for an hour, you're sweet. It was getting down. I'm like, holy shit, I think I'm gonna die. But part of me was like, no. I see that 4 minutes is left. My brain of like, I need to get out of this is switched on, but I'm going to overcome that by sitting through this. And I think that's going to stack in bigger moments where I want to pull out of this. Eventually, I'm too big now, 160 kilos, but I want to be able to run like 5Ks. There's going to be a moment where I get 3Ks in and I'm like, bro, what am I doing? But it's that resilience builder that I know I can do hard shit over and over again, so I'm not going to shortcut anything. So there's those pieces.
Mate, it's funny that you say that because I was telling you the other day, I used to be 30 kilos heavier than I am today, right?
I know. Wow. Hey.
Yeah, but a little fat. Yeah, we'll say
That was Jack, bro.
Let's go look at photos.
It was a lot more muscle, but also a lot more fat. But anyways, coming back to, the running piece, I was over in Europe and I just got, and you would get this all the time. I just had one more person say to me like, hey, big fella, And I don't know why that it just got in my head this one time. And I'm like, you know what? I've tried running a million times. I never get past 1K. I'm going to do this. And I just booked the marathon and sort of had to force myself to go through, like, because I had the date booked in. I'm like, I hate this, I just want to run past 2Ks, and eventually got through that and through that lost a lot of weight. But what helped me in that period, going back to the resilience, was I had an ice bath at the time, and I would go through that and feel that feeling of like, well, every part of me wants to get out. And I remember Huberman saying that's called like the top-down control. So you got the monkey brain that's going, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. No, you know what? I'm in control. It's top-down control. And I remember doing that, and that while I was being consistent with the ice bath, that transferring into me not stopping when wanting to stop running. So
I love that thinking. Huberman's amazing, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He's on my guest list. I'm like, imagine.
Oh, you never know. That was a big laugh there.
No, it's just laughing because you're like, maybe I'll get Simon Beard. I'm like, well, there's Simon and this.
No, but like, I love that approach. And I think, we've had so much oh my God, I can't speak, resilience, because we've learned failure along the way, because like we had to learn how to build a website and then be YouTubing for 5 fucking hours to figure out why the web page isn't loading. Like, we've had to, you're like, too real.
Bro.
But like, we've had to do that. We've had to learn the hard way. And I feel like it's been taken from people in a sense, where they're not actually
100%.
building that skill of failing and getting back up. Like, get yourself back up.
Yeah. A little line just popped in my head. Let's get rid of the AI slop and go hit the op shop. Because what I used to do in 2020, I was on Centrelink, dude. Literally, because I lost my job, I was having panic attacks. My partner got locked out of the country. So she's Canadian.
Okay.
At the time, she
know
probably
that.
is still Canadian, but
She'll probably know that track.
We're still mates. She's a beautiful human, but it just obviously didn't work out as journeys end. And what we were doing though to get by, and then once she got locked out, I'm like, shit, I need to get by and like make more money and learn and grow and do this cool shit I've just learned about with like Wim Hof breathwork, etc. And I was literally going to op shots and buying like $1 book and learning like about Carl Jung in a book I just found. I literally found Jung books from when he first started. They were just all torn up, and I'm like, this sounds
that's
good.
so cool.
And I'm going through and I'm like, archetypes? What's the unconscious mind? Shadow work?
What do you mean? And now,
yeah.
like everyone knows it, and it's like such a like pop psychology of like
Yeah,
everyone knows how
yeah.
to do it all. But anyway, guys, I want this conversation to continue, but my next guest.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm
That's
so
right.
sorry.
No, that's cool.
No, I'm so sorry.
No,
but
all good.
I
This was
feel,
sick.
I
Thank
feel
you, bro,
like
for doing the thing.
Justin, like big
Built for this,
clap.
bro. Yeah.
I feel like this is a common
I'm
thing.
honoured.
I should do it like every few months. We should all
Yeah,
just
absolutely. We'll rock
3
up.
of us
I'm
get
super
around.
down.
But when you just have conversations and it's like, okay, we didn't talk about jack shit we planned to talk about, but like it just
They're the
went
best
so,
ones.
yeah, I know, but it just went so well. This is actually my favorite conversation I've had.
Epic.
So
Likewise,
snaps
yeah.
for you guys. I
this
love
is
that.
great. I really appreciate you guys asking me on, and let's do it again.
Amazing.
100%.
And
Thank
Trav, do you guys both want to, whoever goes first, let everyone know where they can find you?
It's _ Justin Hughes. I haven't
He's
posted
not
in
on
a
his
while.
phone much.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's _ Justin Hughes.
Love. And also if you want to book in at Pivotal Conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
here in the
guys,
Gold
come
Coast,
to
Pivotal
this place.
Conversations. If you want to have a beautiful studio like this, we're here.
Yeah, he's here to take care of you. And Trav.
Yeah, just under the technician guys. Funnily enough, I had a mate who was able to get the underscores off the back end of my
You
tag.
told me that, yeah.
It was elite. When I thought, it'd be nothing. I saw it and I'm like, how the hell did he do this? It looks so clean now, so I was really proud. But yeah, just the technician. No, not just. It is the
Just
technician.
the.
Yeah, and,
We're learning.
and YouTube, I've got 130 episodes now. I think I've got like
Sweet.
20 on there. So I need to go through and upload and all the things. Because as much as I'm not as refined as I am now, I still think a lot of my older podcasts are really good. Like I was just so raw and just learning, like just, what does that mean, bro? Like tell me more about that.
You're just interested in a topic.
So intrigued.
Yeah.
And I've come back to that and going, I'm forever going to be a student. I'm such a curious person and I never want to lose that. So if you guys are curious, come check me out. DM me. I do respond, but just
Unlike Justin.
don't trauma. Yeah.
I do respond.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Just not in
Small
a
doses.
timely manner.
When I'm doing my thing. Just no trauma dumping. Thanks, guys. Like
Yeah.
I
We love
understand.
boundaries over here.
Yeah. If you're struggling, by all means, we'll get to that point. But just start with hey, Trav, I'm just wanting to have a chat. Cool. That's
Yeah,
a
just
great way
wanting
to
to
start.
connect.
Don't tell me a 4-minute audio about how your dog just died and then you're questioning life and all those things. I will still help you, but it's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep, love that so much. And you guys know where to find me, Tayla Bubeck. That's it on all platforms. This is the Your Invisible Advantage podcast and
The Technician Podcast.
going on both.
And
And maybe in the
Not
future.
just Justin.
Just Justin's,
Just
yeah.
Justin.
And if he does have one in the future, I'll come back and put it in the show notes. But thank you guys. This has been amazing.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
This
for
was
having
cool.
me.
I love it. If you guys love this episode, please leave a review, leave a comment, come into our DMs, tag us on Instagram, and this has been amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
That
Amazing.
was so good.
Thank
I'll
you.
give
No,
you that too. I'll be one of the boys.
That was
Damn.
That was so good.
I feel like we could have actually